Dickie, I'm a mess. Look at me.
I'm trying not to.
I'm pathetic. I don't belong here. I'm a monster. I'm a dinosaur.
Don't forget nudist, Dom. Don't forget
I'll
that.
be thrown away.
I think the best parts were probably being freed to be so vocal and excessive and at times politically incorrect. The worst part was probably towards the end of the filming. I'd had like 3 months to get ready for the part, rehearsing with Richard, our writer and director, and we just decided that, you know, he had to look like he had gone to seed and that he'd lived a life where, you know, he'd obviously been in fights.
She was my wife. You were divorced and in jail. She was still my wife.
Lived life to the excess in all its kind of glory. And so I got on this really unhealthy diet of just a lot of bad food and smoking a lot. I mean, he smoked nearly throughout the whole film. And drinking too much, and I mean, I just didn't feel very healthy. By the end, I was looking forward to shedding his skin and getting back to my normal, rather more tame and boring life.
Oh.
You can't make up for 12 years in 3 days, Dom.
Well, I tried.
Absolutely, he's a damaged gem. You know, he's a human car crash. You want to sell that. You want people to buy that lived-in experience that he projects. There's a sort of challenge in that as well. And for me, I find part of the sort of thrill of what I do is piecing together the whole of a character and coming up and hiding myself, I suppose, behind visually what a character looks like, but also how they behave. The opening scene in this film is very, very explicit. And when I was discussing with Richard whether or not we were going to do this, I had this idea that should be the first scene we shoot. And it felt like setting the bar at a certain level, that if I could stroll onto set naked and do this scene on the first day, the crew would kind of understand the liberation of playing Dom Hemingway. Well, I suppose I'm kind of doing that because I've got a 17-year-old son and an 11-year-old son, and so I'm going through that at the moment. A lot of it is don't do it. You know, life's an interesting thing, isn't it? You only get to where you get to from learning to get up from falling down and making mistakes. And this, I'm explaining all of this as a father, watching your son. You can't always catch them, you know, otherwise they won't learn.
I am Dom Hemingway!
Don't turn out like him.